Hi guys. So it is 10 minutes after 10 o'clock and it's Friday. I'm supposed to be doing a Taking Back Friday vlog today. I'm in the attic. It's a little bit of a mess right now. Let me just show you sort of what's going on here. So hi, Amaris. I did not have time to record a vlog this week because we were filming all day on Tuesday. Monday was a holiday here in BC, and Tuesday was a filming day all day. We filmed from about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning until about almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon is when we finished. Hi there. And so Leah was helping me. It was roasting hot in here, and plus because we need to minimize the sound and everything in here, we had the windows closed, the doors closed, and so it's just me and Leah enclosed in this room that's insulated by lots and lots of wool, and it was very hot in here. I'm sitting on the floor right now in the attic, and I'm going to show you a little bit about, okay, so there's some lights going on over in that corner. Here I have a new microphone that we're using to record the spinning videos with for the school of SweetGeorgia, and that's also a bit of a learning curve because trying to figure out how the sound is going to work. In all other previous videos that I've ever shot for the vlog and for the school, I've been using this tiny little recorder device there, and that's called the Zoom H4n recorder, and so that is that's a great recorder, except I was hoping for a little bit better quality by using like a boom microphone, so trying to get that microphone closer to where I'm going to be sitting, which is right here at the wheel, so hopefully you can see, like, I'm sitting there while I'm teaching and then using that microphone, and hopefully that means that it's going to have better sound going forward and all this kind of stuff. And so yeah, I wanted to film a vlog and I wanted to tell you about the sweater that I finished, but I literally didn't finish it until yesterday. I sewed in all the ends and then I blocked it, and I'm going to show you. Ta-da! It's my finished Zweig sweater. Hello. I wish that I was recording this on my big camera because I feel like it's a nice looking sweater, and let's see. It would be nice to have it on the big camera with the nice view and the nice picture quality and everything. But this is what you get. You get webcam today because this is how much time I have. So this is it actually fits really well. I have actually never put this sweater on because it was drying yesterday in the backyard on my sweater drying rack that I found again. And so I have not actually had a chance to put it on. Hello everybody. I'm going to answer your question about doing videos and starting a retreat. I see that. So I think it looks pretty good. It fits pretty good. I feel like the sleeves are a little bit tighter than I normally would want them to be. They're quite snug, but that could just be me. It is meant to be sort of blousy, like I said before. The sleeve is meant to be a little bit bigger, more ease, and then cinched down very, very tight. And you can see like the ribbing for the end of the sleeve is very tight. So that's meant to be tight, and then this is meant to be kind of loose and stuff like that. Thank you so much. I do think it fits pretty good. The one thing I was thinking about is I don't think, maybe it's not very noticeable, but I feel like this is the story of my life. I sort of rush into things, and then I have to stop and then rewind a little bit and then redo them. This happens over and over in my life. But I started knitting this sweater initially with the needle size that was recommended in the pattern, but then the fingering weight yarn that I'm using is slightly finer than fingering weight yarn that you might normally get. This fingering weight yarn that I'm using here is the Bulletproof Sock, so it has some silk in it, has some mohair in it, and I think that mohair and the 4-ply tight twist makes it much more not compacted, but it's much more of a sleek, smooth fingering sock weight yarn. It's not like our Tough Love sock or the Cash Lux Fine or the Cash Lux Spark. All of those 3-ply sock yarns tend to be more bouncy. They tend to be more poofy. So if you were to knit with the gauge that she recommended, with the needle size that she recommended in the patterns with the Tough Love sock, it would totally work great because yeah, I feel like those stitches would puff up a little bit more and fill out. But this one, the Bulletproof sock, is much more slinky in comparison. And so I actually went down a needle size. It's like quarter of a millimeter needle size, but that was enough to make it, yeah, make the fabric down here really, really nice. But you know, knowing me, I didn't rip the whole thing out and start again. I just had this part knit with the larger needle size, and then I changed to the smaller needle size from here down. So I feel like just this little part at the top is a little bit bubbly. It's a little bit looser than it should be. It's a little bit looser than the rest of the sweater. So if I was a really finicky, fussy knitter, then I would definitely take it apart and, you know, I would have redone this top section, but that's just not me. I really, really work with the motto, just keep going forward, and just, you know, forget about the mistake and just keep going. I mean, I've learned gauge things, but I feel like it's really important to always keep moving forward than to rip things back and then start over, because that's frustrating. That's depressing. I'm not frustrated at all by this. I'm not depressed at all by this. I feel like this is a great learning process and I'm good. The other thing that is a bit of a learning process is this quilted sort of X cross-stitched pattern that's happening on the body of the sweater. So the funny thing about this sweater is that, yes, it has this twisted stitch pattern that makes it look like there's little X's. So it looks like it's kind of like smocked or quilted, or, you know, that sort of thing. And yeah, so the thing that, in order to make this pattern, it happens over 2 different rows. So there's one row you do twisted stitches, and then it makes the stitches go this way. And then you do 1 row of knitting, and then the next round you have to do twisted stitches that make the stitches go the other way. So that makes your X, X, and X. And so there were countless times when I did the first part of the stitch pattern, I did this X, and then I did the knitting the round, and then I just continued to knit in the round because I thought, oh, I did the stitch pattern already. And then after like 5 or 6 rounds, I realized, oh, I didn't do the other side of the X. So then I had to rip back. That for sure, I needed to rip back. And it's not really like ripping back. In some cases, I used a smaller needle, and I would just sort of pick up all the way around. So I would pick up stitches, you know, 5 or 6 rows down, and pick them all up with a smaller needle, then take the real needle off, zip and unwind all of my knitting back to that smaller needle, and use it kind of like a lifeline, really, and then use the real needle, the proper size, and then start knitting again. So I did that several times. If this had just been plain stockinette knitting, I probably would have just zoomed through the whole thing, but it also probably would have been not as interesting. And I feel like it does create like quite a nice texture. So that looks cool. It does look nice. I do like it. I was also a little bit concerned at the beginning about this lace pattern. The lace at the top, the way that it, yeah, just the first few rounds of lace at the top, it looked messy. But it doesn't look messy anymore. I think once you cut down to this section where there's these twisted stitches and the columns of twisted stitches, the whole pattern comes together and it does look pretty cool altogether. So I'm very happy about this sweater. I would probably knit it again, maybe, but I have other things to knit right now. I did start another project. I don't know, some of you might have seen it on Instagram, but on the weekend, I was at a barbecue at a friend's house, and this is kind of a big sweater to bring to somebody's house to knit. And so I had maybe about this much of the sweater left to knit, but I didn't really work on this. So I brought a tiny little sweater, and I cast on for Nina, and it is a sweater that will be published by Tin Can Knits later on this fall as part of a sweater collection that has all these different colorful yokes and things like that. And so I picked a bunch of colors. I used some Party of Fives, and I'm holding that yarn doubled, and holding that yarn double produces a bit of a worsted weight yarn. And then once I finish the yoke, then I go on with the body, and the body is knit in the superwash worsted. So again, a worsted weight yarn. And it is going so fast. I think at the time of the barbecue, in that afternoon, I would manage to knit the entire yoke during the barbecue. I'm trying to find a place to sit down. Sitting on the floor is not comfortable. Maybe this is better. Hello, I'm checking in on the chat too. Learning as long as we knit. I find a yes. So beginning of round marker with multiple links helps in that situation. So for a 4-row repeat, I would choose one with 4 links as a reminder of which row I'm on. Very good. Yes, that is a good suggestion. One of the things I did with Nina's sweater, actually, as I was knitting her yoke sweater, you know, there are knitting tools for a reason. They go towards helping you knit better and easier and faster and all these kinds of things. And so for whatever reason, I didn't have my stitch markers with me when I started Nina's yoke sweater. And I'm following the stitch pattern, going around in circles, and everything seems fine. And then you have to start to increase stitches in the yoke. And because I use kind of like the cast on tail, there's like a little tail that hangs out from your cast on when you join in the round. And I'm always just using that as my center marker. I kind of look at that and say, oh, if I just count the stitches along this way, if I just look up vertically, then this is the beginning of the round. And that typically works okay. But for whatever reason this time, when I started to knit them together in the round, I decided to take that tail and knit it in maybe 5 or 6 stitches to kind of tuck it in, because I thought, oh, I'm saving time because later on I won't need to sew that in later. But then where the tail ended up lining up, I thought that was the beginning of the round, but it wasn't the beginning of the round. And so on some rounds I was kind of using that as the beginning of the round marker, and then on other rounds I was like, no, wait, the beginning of the round is actually here. It would have just been easier if I had used a stitch marker. So I have added a stitch marker, and now it's just, resuming along. There is a little bit of a mistake. I don't think anybody can tell that there's a mistake. So we're just going to keep going on with that. I have one more thing that I wanted to show you guys, and that is, before I go on, I've been knitting for more than 40 years, but it's the last 5 years that I first talked about 40 years of knitting. That is fantastic. I have sweaters on now. 5 sweaters. You're knitting 5 sweaters at one time. Holy wow. I'm trying. Actually, I found that this year, one of the greatest lessons, the revelations I've learned this year, is that if you knit on one project at a time, you can get more things done. It's kind of crazy. I've been trying to be really, really project monogamous, like knitting on this Zweig sweater. I really focused, and I said, I'm not going to knit anything except for this sweater. And then when I'm done, then I'll knit this next sweater. So, I got all the way to here on the last second sleeve before I cast on for the next one. But that's such a simple thing. You just focus on one thing and then go to the next thing. It's a life lesson. It's a life lesson, you guys. So I want to show you this thing. This thing I did not knit. This one was knit by Charlotte. So you guys know Charlotte is our assistant production manager at the studio, and she's currently in Taiwan. She actually had to, she knit this, and then she's like, can you block it? And then she had to fly out immediately. She was in Taiwan for a family emergency. So we're all sort of praying for her and hoping that everything's okay for Charlotte. But before she left me this to show you guys on the vlog. And so this is basically a shawl that was designed by Melanie Berg. I believe it is called the Perhaps shawl. So Melanie Berg is a knitwear designer in Germany, and I did interview her for the podcast last year, I believe it was. And so we had like a nice conversation, and then I bumped into her again at H&H in March in Cologne. But this is one of her patterns. It's called Perhaps. I'm going to show you. It seems like the construction is very, very simple. It is a crescent shawl, and there's some rows of garter alternating stripes of color, and then a little bit of lace, and then some more garter stitch and some more lace. And so Charlotte picked a color that is very bold. She picked a very bold color combination here. So she told me, but I have the worst memory. I know that the yellow is saffron, and I can't remember which red this was. And then this purple is actually some glitterati yarn that we had from ages ago. So we replaced the glitterati many years ago with the Cash Lux Spark for a sparkle yarn. The Cash Lux Spark is much more soft and luxurious feeling, but this is very it's still figuring weight and kind of sparkly. I don't think you can see the sparkle. Maybe. Yeah. So I found that this is really interesting, and I'll take proper pictures of it because the webcam color is terrible. But she chose that yellow, and the yellow looks significantly darker than it would if you were just using the yellow straight. It doesn't look so yellow, and it's because, when you squint your eyes and you're looking at it, the yellow is obviously blending together with the red that is in those garter sections. So it transforms the effect of that yellow into something that's much more orange and blended and muted. I don't know. I find it very, very interesting. So this shawl design is lovely because it's simple. It's simple, beautiful, easy knitting. And let me see if I can. It's a crescent shawl, so it's nice and wearable. You could wear it as a scarf if you wanted to. Yeah, this would be really lovely as just a scarf, right? You just wear this and then put your winter coat over it, and then there's multiple colors that you're seeing, 1, 2, 3 colors. But I think that if you were to do all different kinds of combinations of colors, lots and lots of things are possible with this very simple pattern. Anyways, this whole project came about, and she decided to make this pattern because Melanie Berg recently, this August, just came out with a new book, and I think it's just called Shawls. So she's republished several of her older patterns in it. So I think the Joker and the Thief is in it. I think Solaris is in it. There's a bunch of older patterns that are in this book that have been republished. And then she's added, I believe, 3 new patterns. One of them is called Midnight in Berlin, which was a mosaic pattern. And then another one is called Abuelita, which was like I don't know, it's a textured stitch, and it's a triangular shawl. And I had both of these patterns in my inbox, and I was going to also knit them. And I had many, many months to do that. It was March when I heard about this idea, and I was like, I'm totally going to knit one of Melanie Berg's shawls as well and have it ready for August. But it's August 10th now, and I have not yet started because I couldn't pick colors for it. But I think that maybe that fizzy water blue that I've been holding on to for the longest time, maybe that might be something that could be worked up into a combination like this. Like I could see this purple as being blue, and then I could see this part as being kind of like a very sandy neutral, like maybe a tumbled stone and gray, so very, very neutral. And then with this blue, that might be nice. Anyways, I'm just thinking out loud. But in any case, this is Charlotte's shawl. Thank you so much, Charlotte, for knitting this and letting me show this to everybody. It is lovely and beautiful. And we're wishing you well in Taiwan with your family right now. And yeah, so I have Nina's sweater. I'm zooming down the body part of it, but I can't show you because I don't think I can show you pictures of this sweater that has not yet been released by Tin Can Knits, but it will be available later. I have someone else saying hi. Hi. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I know it's a bit of a crazy setup today because I didn't have a proper pre-recorded vlog for you, but such is the way that things are happening right now. It is a crazy time. I am short on time. Editing takes a lot of time. And so I think right now the main focus is really, I mean, I'm just 100% obsessed with getting the framework and the structure of the School of SweetGeorgia up and running. Last week I invited some of our patrons from our Patreon campaign to the school, so they are sort of poking around the inside of the school right now and checking everything out, making sure everything's functioning and working. The main things we're trying to test are making sure that the sign-in function works, the setup, the registration works, making sure that all that functionality works. And then once all that functionality works, then Leah's been adding all of the old videos. So all of the dyeing course videos are going in there. And then of course we are recording new spinning videos. And it was hot. And for some reason, I think that I need to wear a sweater while I'm filming these courses, and it just makes it so much more uncomfortable. So I don't know what we're going to do today. I'm just wearing that Zweig sweater now for like 2 minutes was not good. So we will see how all of that goes. In any case, let me know in the chat if you think that this is a fun way to do the vlog, because we're just doing it as a live stream now. If you like being here live, doing this on Fridays, or if you prefer like that pre-recorded, more edited version of the Taking Back Friday vlogs, I'm happy to do it both ways. I think that this is pretty fun too, because I get to see you guys at the same time, which is fun, and to hear back, what you guys are thinking about the things that I'm saying, and all that kind of stuff. Feedback is always nice. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about this, what you think about this episode, what you think about the Zweig sweater. Would you make one? What color combinations would you make? And yeah, do check out Melanie Burke's new shawl book and her new collection of patterns. I took a set of Party of Fives that we are launching in the fall. I'll show you. I can show you this. It is a sneak preview of the colors that we're going to launch this fall. But this is one of the new Party of Fives that we're coming out with this fall. And this one is called, it just slipped my mind. I can't remember. Yeah, my brain is, okay, anyways, I can't remember what this one is called. But this is a nice one, and this is my favorite one. And so I was thinking about maybe using this for one of Melanie Berg's shawls, the Solaris shawl maybe, or maybe I would use this to make, Tanis at Tanis Fiber Arts. She has a sweater that's called Camaro, and it has chevrons of stripes of color and then just body. I was thinking about maybe making that, or maybe working it up into mommy version of the same sweater that Nina's gonna get, so we all have matching sweaters, something like that. I don't know, but in any case, this is one of the Party Fives that's coming out this fall, and then this is another one of the Party Fives that's coming out this fall. So this one is called Tranquility, and this one is definitely much more lighter, paler colors. I don't think that they look good on me, but they will look good on somebody with different coloring than I do. Yes. So that is what I'm going to work on after. Well, no. After I finish Nina's sweater, I'm going to make one for Russell with different colors, but the same sweater. Because I don't want him to be sad that I haven't knit him a sweater yet. And it's important to be fair. So yeah, that's what I'm going to work on next. So yeah, I would love to hear about what you guys are working on, what you guys are making, what you guys are knitting, and let's hope that we can do this again next Friday. Yeah. Maybe we'll do something special next week, because Allison from the UK, she's actually coming tomorrow to Vancouver, and so she's going to come over to our place for a barbecue, and a bunch of people are going to come over here, and then she's going to go to the studio next week and hang out with the gals at the studio. We're going to do a little bit of a yarn crawl in Vancouver, probably on Tuesday. So maybe there'll be some interesting stuff about that, and maybe I can show you guys video footage from that. In any case, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this morning, and I am going to go get this room set up so that way we can start filming as soon as Leah gets here, which is in 25 minutes. Okay, bye for now, you guys. Oh, there was a question about doing videos on retreats. I will figure that out and then answer you guys in the next episode, maybe. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you.